Thank you everyone for the introduction. Feels nice to be a part of this panel with so many marketing mavericks around me from different spheres of industry, right from lighting to home credit to gold to frozen foods. And along with me is my fellow industry mate from the edtech side of it. So let's start this panel. To summarize, let's begin with the intent of the discussion, which is, are we really putting our money into some things that we are not aware of? Is this a black hole where people just spend money? Especially the digital marketing, it has evolved a lot in the past years, and day in and out marketeers are trying and figuring out new ways to increase the ROI or the brand value of a brand. But this is a common question I would throw across the entire panel. What do you think? Is this a black hole? What are your views around it? And how you as a brand are figuring out new ways, or is there any bet specifically in the digital marketing segment that you have taken for your brand, and how has that panned out for you? Let's start with Nikhil.
So I think digital marketing actually started with better targeting than what traditional media actually offered to marketers. But over time, what we're seeing is that we've got these silos that have been created by companies which don't talk to each other, right? So now a lot of money is going into impressions, and especially when you go into things like programmatic, or when you're going into a GDN environment, then the maker-checker concept gets very diluted, right? Because the maker is the checker, and you don't really know what's happening in terms of impressions. Now that's where the real conundrum, and that's where our investments therefore gets targeted towards performance marketing, because at least there's some outcome that you're actually driving. So brand marketing on digital therefore is taking slightly a backseat, and a lot of investment is therefore going into performance, because at the end of the day, the impression story is something that you have to just believe and not really difficult to verify. I think that's where the challenge today lies, and I think other marketers would have something similar to say, I guess.
Yeah, I think you summarized it pretty well. As I think the entire internet era or the digital started with the promise of bringing this entire transparency. And then I think somewhere the marketers only decided that, oh, this is too much transparency. So let's bring some subjectivity, the art and the magic. And that magic is today called as impressions and views. Okay, and I think that's where the businesses and P&L owners are saying that get me some accountability, and that accountability is called as performance. Okay, I never knew if there is anything marketing is, if there is any marketing or a real sense of marketing which is without performance before I heard that there is a separate term called as performance marketing. I mean, if you're doing marketing, it has to perform. It has to deliver some kind of a result, whether that result is whatever it is. Okay, having said that, I think there is another challenge which is, I think, at least the marketer, as a marketer, I am grappling with, and which is about reduction in the user, at least from perspective of users, it's about the entire, fragmented user attention. And I'm sure all of us have learned about that. We have become from goldfish to squirrels to I don't know what all animals. I don't know whether we are coming out of cave or going inside that. But I think this entire attention, fragmented attentions is also taking away the, or stressing up the marketer's life. And the medium has to play a role in that. One, you are creating a medium which is siloed out. You are creating these walled gardens from where deciphering one to another is a challenge. And third and the last is this entire promised la la land of that everything becoming AI. I mean, that's the third thing, and I think these three things put together are decently creating a challenge, whereas the statement which was given some 100 years back that 50% of my investments work, I just don't know the rest 50 it doesn't and where it goes. Or the vice versa, the marketer inside me does not want to say that 50% I don't know what it does. But certainly I don't know what that percentage is. And given that digital was promised as the medium which helps you measure everything, once you start from a promise, I think you have to keep that promise. So that's where.
Kashish, what are your 2 cents on it?
So it totally depends upon the objective. I'm not disagreeing with Nikhil, but yeah, then if your objective is awareness campaign, it has to be awareness. Then if you create a funnel after awareness, you'll do consideration campaigns and then followed by performance campaigns. If I am strong in North, I'm not strong in South, I'll probably do a high frequency campaign in South. That totally depends upon the objective of the campaign. So for example, you have to be very relevant to your target audience. So we did a recent campaign with Finance with Sharan. I'm sure you know about him. Now he's SEBI recognized, and we had a choice between Sharan and Neha Nagar, but we chose Sharan, maybe Neha Nagar in future. Now that is the precise audience that we need to do and the timing of the campaign. So for gold and silver, prominently Akshaya Tritiya and Dhanteras is very important for us from business point of view, and the timing of the campaign. Yeah. So 1 week before we launched the campaign, we said 1 week we'll run it organically and then we'll put money behind it, and it did wonders. So for from awareness, we did let it run organically. We had a coupon code which the consumers can use at our own exclusive brand stores and our own website. So we cater to both the objectives, awareness as well as the performance marketing. It's just that how to measure it. And a high frequency campaign can always make the clutter go down. That is very important for us, and you should always have a content driven campaigns. If you know your audience, your content has to be in a way that you are, engaging that target audience. And from that video, recent past, the engagement was very high for that particular video, because as a brand, my Sharan is a little quirky. We don't resonate with quirkiness, but at the end, we got to a script and agreement that it has to be a blend of both, and we were pretty successful with that. So awareness campaign is equally important than performance. As a marketeer, I've been fighting with my management that awareness is equally important. So yeah, keep on fighting if marketeers agree with me.
That's a very interesting point Kashish has laid down, which is, it should be a mix of both awareness and performance. And, it's rightly said, you cannot have performance without awareness. So with this thought, let's move on to Aditya. What are, your thoughts about, where do these spends actually go?
Yeah. So just to build on what three of them have said before this, there is this perception, of course, that digital is a bit of a black box, but the traditional media vehicles before digital as well, which one deploys money in, were no less black boxes, right? If you can tell me hand on heart what the output of a print campaign is, or not print is the wrong topic over here, maybe an outdoor campaign is, then that's measurability. So, I work in the FMCG or CPG industry, and, I look after both sales and marketing. So just deploying a marketing campaign is not sufficient for me. So what we have seen in the past is that previously a lot of our campaigns used to be deployed on linear TV and digital driving reach amplification. And the hope was that brand awareness would translate into consideration and translate into trial, and then with distribution that will lead to offtakes and sales. The shift has been now, with the advent of quick commerce coming in and becoming a sizable part of businesses. What we have actually done, at least in our industry, is really upped our spends on digital. So our digital spends are up nearly 2x in 2 years. Yeah, and we have shifted our spends from just being top funnel in terms of strategy towards also being bottom funnel, where we partner with our e-com retailers and leverage first-party data to drive trials and measure the full funnel impact of that. So net, yeah, it is a black box, but there are many more blacker boxes in the industry.
Riddhi, I'm throwing this question at you. You have heard the pain of the marketeers. So, as some fellow from this ad tech industry, how do you think marketeers can see the ray of sunshine after the end of the tunnel?
In fact, I agree with all of them, and thanks, Kashish, for bringing up that point about awareness being as important as performance. Because I think from a tech provider standpoint, what we've seen is that marketers are sometimes sort of lost in this digital maze, so to call, not like a black hole, but it's really a maze. There's so much. In that whole digital loomscape, right? There's marketers, there's publishers, and now there is CTV, there's quick commerce, there's e-commerce. There's just so much, and then sometimes the marketer is lost as to where exactly do I look for awareness, where do I look for consideration, and where do I look for those outcomes. But I think the big shift that we've seen, based on all of our interactions and working with a lot of global sort of marketers, we've seen that the perspective of a marketer has also largely shifted from just awareness and performance, performance plus consideration, into, two stages beyond that, which is probably advocacy and loyalty. They are also sort of looking to, have that brand loyalty built in with their customers. They also want their customers to advocate their products to others. So that's one shift I think that's happened in the recent past. And, coming back to new avenues that have been made available to marketers, we've seen explosive growth on CTV. We've seen explosive growth on quick commerce in, the past 5 years. And all of this growth is basically, coming, although marketers know that these are relatively nascent media channels, these are media channels where measurement standards haven't yet been established, but marketers are still being experimental with all of this. So although they probably somewhere feel that they could be investing their money into a black hole, they're still open to, experimenting and seeing what outcomes there are. And I think largely the whole brand perspective has probably shifted from measuring outcomes to measuring effectiveness. So that's what I feel.
Absolutely. So one of the key things that everybody laid out was, it's important to have that sort of visibility on where your spends are going. And that is where a lot of measurement tools come into place, similar to, what we do, which is an attribution model, or if we can have a clear visibility on those sort of trackers by which we are able to identify, if not, fully, but at least considerably knowing where our efforts are happening and which spends or which sort of marketing channels are working out the best for us. So moving on with Ashish, I'm just starting with you, and it is a very sort of industry specific question because I think different sort of people would be able to hear different perspectives from people from the industry. So Ashish, you are in this fintech industry, and fintech, as you know, demands trust, and it is a highly regulated space, right? So my question to you is, how do you leverage digital to drive both customer acquisition and retention whilst ensuring the credibility is there? Because in digital space, you don't know what sort of ads are being shown to a customer. You're not sure what sort of brand message is going ahead. So how do you control that?
Okay, I think I'll disagree that in digital space you don't know what kind of an ad and what is being shown to customer. I think if that is happening, then it is a complete failure of a marketer sitting at the other end. You should fire them. Okay. I mean, as a marketer, if you are not able to control your brand narrative, you don't deserve to be one. Having said that, I think one place, the kind of industry I'm into, I give out loans. Okay. And as a product, it comes with certain attributes. One of the best attribute of the product or the category is that there is zero to negative badge value. There is no pride of ownership as such. Okay, think about it. How many times have you heard anybody saying, "Wow, man, I bought this phone on EMIs"? People will come back and say, "I bought this phone." You feel happy about the asset you have acquired or the product you have acquired, and money doesn't have any differentiation. I mean, the money which I give or any of my industry peers give, it all comes from RBI. I mean, I don't print that. Okay, so there is no product differentiation, there is no differentiation, there is no badge as far as the product badge value goes. What do you do that? I think one place where digital comes very handy is that it is a non-intrusive medium. Think about it, you need money, or anybody, even if I need money, or all of us do, we hardly, these are not the conversations you would like to have in open. Even if you need a loan, mostly, and I'm not talking about certain product categories like a home loan or something where it's accepted, you need loan to plan a vacation, plan your marriage, buy a new phone. Every day, I mean, do a kind of a month-end planning for that. Throw a party. You don't go around saying that I need a loan. Digital provides that accessibility. It provides that discretion for people. And the trust there is whenever you are dealing with money, you have certain codes, which is like, is your TNC very open and honest? Are you being able to, how frictionless are you, and in a non-intrusive way, you are able to deliver your product or service without making me feel that old movie, na? Have you, all of us have seen that old movies, Lala ye maa ke kangan le le, but mujhe chhod de. I mean, it signifies the stigma which comes with the product. And with our journeys, the way we have created journeys, the way we have crafted the entire brand story. It's not about loan, it's about that movement which you want to own with that money. And we call it Zindagi Hit Movement, which is nothing but life is a celebration. And we are being a partner in that celebration to allow you pull your tomorrow today. And like we were talking, I mean, any loan companies, you only get loan if you can pay back. If you are not able to pay back, you hardly get a loan. So basically what we are trying to do is we are trying to bring your tomorrow today. You would have anyways being able to achieve that. And there, the entire journey, the entire TNCs, how closely can you morph it to your customer, which is personalization, how easy you make it to consume to them, which is nothing but being vernacular, video. I think it's pretty old school and simple. Make it simple, make it complete, nonsensical proof, which is like don't try to be acronym driven, and make it non-intrusive. I think these three things, which on all three check boxes digital ticks into, and I think that's what is helping us drive those conversations. And then it is all about ease. Once you are comfortable, once you are able to drive it, then you will keep going back and have those conversations. And continuous dialogue between a brand and the consumer is what we are being able to drive using that. So yeah, so app, web, whatever, chatbots, all those kinds of.
So Rahul, I'd like to add, as Philips Lighting, this is where I think brands excel. On digital, today, we are selling 50,000 rupees chandeliers to people. Now, this is where digital marketing really becomes better, really, than your traditional media, because there are just so many avenues for content creation. So as a marketer, you have influencers today, you have affiliate marketing today, you have opportunity to create a complete narrative online, which is very difficult, or which was very difficult in traditional times. For me to put an edit article in a newspaper used to depend on the newspaper whether they would publish it or not. But today I can create my content, and I have hundreds of avenues where I can actually publish that content, right? And create that story. Now, bigger brands, therefore, do have that advantage because we don't really fight for awareness anymore. What we're fighting now is for the buyer to actually just go ahead get convinced online with a great storytelling that a marketer can do, and then go ahead and shop online, because now that piece about converting people to shop online is gone. That fear is gone. And quick commerce there has now inducted just so many more buyers who are just so used to buying online. Earlier, not to be very boxy here, but let's say housewives at home were not very comfortable buying online. They would probably wait for their husband to do an e-com transaction. Now when they're buying on their mobile phone from Blinkit, that whole ecosystem's just opened up, right? So from a digital marketing standpoint, I think it's a great era for marketers to really create that trust. There's just so many avenues to create that trust. And I think we have somebody who sells gold online. So I think they can really add value to this discussion probably.
Nikhil, following up on the things you said in terms of awareness, lightning, as we see, is a low involvement category. People actively rarely seek that out, right? And you mentioned the awareness part is already there because people know Signify. They have been knowing Philips for quite some time. How do you make that last push, as in the customer is aware? How do you engage and then try and convert them into an active customer?
And I think that's where when we say content is king, because your buyer is online, you know that. Everybody today who goes in the offline space actually first searches online and then goes buys offline, especially if they're creating a new house or renovating a new house, and when it's about lighting. So there is just so much opportunity to do that conversion there, to convince him why he should go out and buy Philips lighting. And that's where our digital marketing investments really come into play, that whoever is a better digital marketer will be able to convert the customer offline. Because at the end of the day, the search is all happening online. And that's the one big place where everybody is going and searching. So it's all about content, it's all about seeding, it's all about targeting now. And then you can even look at conversions offline.
So, in the age of marketing, as marketing rapidly evolves, content is king. As both of our fellow marketeers have stated out loud.
I would just say, don't forget the queen, which is your tech stack or your narrative. If you go only with a king, trust me.
No, absolutely, absolutely. You cannot have a kingdom without a king and a queen, so definitely. Moving on to the next, panelist, Aditya. You're from McCain, which is operating in the FMCG category. And usually FMCG is associated with offline, buying, where I go into a retail store, I can actually check the content of, whatever goods I'm buying. How do you change that, usual perception from somebody who is accustomed to buying something on an offline medium and try and push them towards a digital medium or, let's say, these marketplaces?
Yeah, so the shift in terms of purchase behavior is not something, frankly, that brands like us can do. That is, the purchase behavior is driven by individual consumer dynamics. Most of us 2 years ago were purchasing from offline stores. Now all of us order 3 to 4 times a day from online channels. But what brands can do is to go where consumers are going. Really, so if a consumer shift is happening, then brands can go there. The typical FMCG business models across the country were, you would focus on building mental availability, physical availability, driving up brand awareness, driving up distribution, and hoping that bridge would happen between awareness and trial across the board. Now that paradigm over the last few years has shifted. If you look at large CPG companies also in the country, with lakhs and lakhs of outlets of distribution, they also have in excess of 50% of their spends on digital. Now, in businesses like ours, in McCain, what's really happened is that firstly, we are a frozen player, so our distribution reach is limited. If we were advertising primarily on linear TV, then we were effectively advertising to a lot of empty shelves. What digital media allows us to do is really target our communication. So it helps us stay super targeted. That's the first thing it does. Second is that in terms of the way forward on the big shift that we've been able to make through this is it helps us create cohorts of consumers. You're talking about crores and crores of transactions happening on a monthly basis. So what would it take to kind of create consumer cohorts across towns and cities, and with the larger message being, how can we create personalization at scale? What digital lets us also do is break certain barriers on consideration. So there is this barrier in the frozen industry, or a perception that frozen products have preservatives in them, whereas actually, if you had preservatives, you wouldn't need to freeze a product, right? So most frozen products don't have preservatives in them, but there's a perception barrier. Now typical TV advertising, distribution expansion, placing a poster in a store won't solve that. What solves that beautifully is influencers, and having real life influencers talking about these stories. So, last year we had taken on, when we did a brand campaign, we took on Samira Reddy, who's a known fitness influencer, to promote McCain. And she was trolled for promoting McCain, that why are you promoting a brand which has preservatives in it? It's so bad. And we did a follow-up campaign where, we spoke about the fact that she was trolled over there, but, our packs have our products have no preservatives in them. So that built credibility, and it translated into a significant drop in the brand imagery of, has preservatives in it. So, it's a way. Lastly, in terms of the consumer, there's been a massive shift in the purchase behavior towards quick commerce. Quick com today is expanding towards more and more cities, and through their first party data, we have an opportunity to actually do full funnel marketing, so tracking the impact of what our investments are to actual purchase behavior, and that is a space which we've stepped up. So net paradigms are shifting, and this, it's for most CPG companies to actually leverage digital, work hard over there, test and learn as well, and maximize business over here versus being super scared of this shift.
I think one of the key features things that you mentioned was the spread of misinformation in this era. As in, when we consume more and more content, there are misinformation content more than there are actual right content. So yes, promoting the right brand messaging and debunking those myths around frozen foods is I think that can be achieved to a greater extent with digital medium. Moving on to Kashish. Kashish, you are in the gold and precious metal segments. How do you make an impact via digital from those customers who have this traditional habit of buying gold, especially from an offline store where I might be paranoid that I get the quality of gold, I get the purity of gold from an offline store rather than buying it off online. So how do you drive that using digital channel? And especially it is high value investment that a user has to do.
Yeah. So yeah, like Nikhil mentioned that selling gold online buying gold online is considered to be a myth. I don't know why would consumers buy 1.5 lakhs iPhone online and not gold, which is worth 1 lakh, and they're still skeptical about buying the same. So it's very important to create that space for consumers to feel safer about their gold. And as a consumer, everyone knows that if a brand is selling online by their own, they would come to my own official websites. They would go to Amazon, which is a trusted website again, and quick commerce, where they can get the delivery. It's very important for them to be secure about it, and which leads to educational campaigns that we do online, where I'm not sure if you know that 24 karat gold is not the purest form of gold. There are purities inside, and I've seen many major brands mentioning that they are 24 karat gold and they are the purest. There are 3 types of purities in 24 karat. I would take this opportunity to quickly educate you as well. $995, 999, and 999.9. Whenever you are buying gold, it's very important for investment, not in jewelry, that you see this level of purity there, so that you know what you are buying. Because if you buy uh, at a lesser price, you'll sell at a lesser price in future. So it's very important for you to know the purity. At MMTC PAM, we are India's purest gold and silver. We give 99.99% plus purity, and for you to create that impression amongst consumers is very important. You cannot go there and say 24 karat is the purest gold, because you are not selling the right information to your consumers. If we are at a premium, there's a reason to be at premium, and consumer should know why you are at a premium. That is most likely the case. And then creating a category amongst consumers. We did a recent film. We had a budget of 25 lakhs for those films. So we thought, what's the biggest category that we can get into apart from investments, which was wedding. Now, with a budget of 25 lakhs and doing a pan-India film was very difficult. So what we did was, we thought of doing regional films where emotional buying of gold is very much there. It means, passing on the legacy to your next generation, where a grandmother was gifting gold to getting married grandson, then friends contributing, because every one of you in your life would have that question, kya gift dena hai? In every wedding, and you'll give 2100 rupees ka lifafa, 5100 rupees ka lifafa. That is a major concern. And we wanted to create that category where you can gift legacy. Like whenever you are seeing that coin or bar, a gold or a silver coin or bar, the consumer, the groom or bride that you're giving to remembers you by that. And it is an appreciating asset. जो आप 2100 रुपए that you'll give it to the bride and groom, that will be mixed with the other shaguns. So we wanted to break that myth and get into the category through these awareness campaigns and the channels, of course. Online, all the channels, we took demographic regional films to do that. We had a South Indian film, we had a East India film, Western film, and North Indian film to cater to all the regional languages, because we wanted to cater to all type of audience, being marriage as the theme of the film. So yeah,
All right. Kashish, adding on to what you said, I'm a big believer in digital gold. I have been buying it. It's a secure form of investment for me, because I don't want to be killed when somebody comes and loots my house or does money heist in SBI. So I don't want to be a part of that. The second thing is, once you said, it's an asset for me. Gold is an asset, and when we met, I initially told you that in every wedding of my friends, I have gifted them MMTC coins. So that is something that I have always been doing, because it is an asset, and furthermore, it's easy to carry rather than a big box for me. So moving on to Riddhi, who Riddhi. So we have heard all these sort of measures that these guys are taking in terms of digital evolution, or in terms of promoting their products on a digital medium. What do you see? Where are the gaps in this industry? Where do you see marketeers going wrong in terms of their digital marketing spends?
So we heard a lot of different perspectives on brands leveraging different mediums of digital to sort of promote their product, or whatever's more relevant to their category. And I think Nikhil spoke about content versus I think Aditya spoke about quick commerce. So we've seen that there are so many avenues today in digital that brands are trying to leverage. But I think the conundrum still stays that all of this is fragmented. Brands are still trying to resolve issues like, unified reach, frequency building, or frequency consolidation across the different mediums. And I think as a tech provider, it is sort of our responsibility to work with brands to help them resolve all of these, right? And like I mentioned, I'll just build on what I mentioned earlier. We've sort of started working with brands to go one step beyond performance, right? And what we've been doing so far is, obviously, Teads has been a full funnel solution. We have awareness solutions, we have mid funnel, we've got lower funnel conversion solutions. Now we offer CTV as well. So we sort of cover the entire funnel, so to say. And like I mentioned, now we're moving beyond that, and we're partnering with brands to enable them to build that advocacy and loyalty factors for that brand. What we've been doing, I've seen a lot of brands sort of over-indexing on lower funnel sometimes, and then losing out on that whole long-term brand building. So what we've been doing is working very closely with brands to provide, allied metrics such as, make that transition from viewability onto attention, because attention is sort of more measurable, and we've partnered with some of the best names in the industry. We also encourage a lot of our brands to leverage cognitive, signals, or predictive AI modeling, or even contextual signals for that matter, that have been integrated into our platform. And platforms such as ours, which are not 100% programmatic, right? Sir mentioned about transparency some time back, and he said there is a over transparency sometimes, but what we believe in is, Teads as a platform, or us as a solution. We sit right in the heart of premium editorial content, or content that has that is non-UGC, that has been created with the intent of reaching customers in a more ethical way. So for us, I think some of the key metrics that we capitalize on is brand safety, higher viewability. Also, going beyond that is, building out on brand recall, or measuring what kind of purchase, brand lift or purchase intent lift is the campaign actually giving to the brand. So this.
And can I just add to that, basically now you don't really need to choose between performance and brand building, really.
Yes.
If your performance content is viewable, is something that is interesting, is something that is intriguing, then automatically that will add back to the brand value as well.
Correct.
So you can actually create performance content that can add to the brand value. I think it's not an either or anymore.
Yeah, so sir, what I was saying is, once you start building on these, rather than performance output, if you start building on these long-term business outcomes, right, your performance or conversion just becomes an organic outcome. You don't really need to run campaigns and specifically focus on vanity metrics like impressions, clicks, CTR, and conversions. You can just work with your proxy metrics like, incremental reach, or even brand lift, brand building, sales lift. All of that just become organic outcomes. And I think that's what our aim is at Teads. We do a lot of allied measurements like attention, like I mentioned. We also, for the more conscious marketers, we also have something called as, carbon footprint measurement. Because sustainability today is, a big part of what all marketers are, kind of including in their brand messaging. And it also resonates well with the kind of audience that they're looking to target. So we also help brands do that. So all in all, I think the question that needs to be asked today is, what was the ROI out of this campaign? Or rather, moving on from that, what exactly was sort of the brand uplift or the consideration? Has this campaign moved the needle on consideration? And if it has moved the needle on awareness and consideration, I think your question about ROI is answered automatically.
I would just like to add there, okay? Create for consumers.
Correct.
If you create for consumers, and if you are able to reach your consumer, everything else is vanity. As marketers, for a long-term success, focus on the business, understand your consumer closely, create what, either entertain, engage, whatever you want to do, educate, but create for consumers. A lot of times, all these terms are marketer-originated terms, which is performance marketing, brand marketing, awareness. You are creating for consumer whether it will yield your cash register today or it will yield whatever or ring it 5 years down the line. You should be very, very clear about what is your timeline for action, what you are trying to decide, and will this piece of content or will this piece of campaign, will this piece or will this medium will help you reach there. Attribution is nothing but trying to figure out whether the medium is helping you there or not. I think
And
that's
sir,
what marketing is all about.
absolutely. And just to add one more point to that, I think we also sort of encourage brands to leverage independent verification, right? So, because we don't want to grade our own homework. So, obviously, we definitely encourage brands to work with independent verification partners and sort of while calculating the ROI. So, that's one more point to add.
Yeah. Okay, can I add one more point?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, sorry, Nikhil, I'll again come to you on the performance bit. So, the awareness campaign creative would be different from the performance campaign, where you want to tell consumers why to buy. And performance campaign's objective would be you buy it now because you know about the brand. So, of course, I'm disagreeing with that. So the objective of the campaign, the creative has to be in a way that if we are confused between the objective of the campaign, whether it is awareness or performance, the creative has to be in the same way and the communication has to be in a way that the consumers choose the best product for them. And then you do performance marketing because they know about your brand.
All right. Do we have some time just to summarize the conversation or?
Yeah, we can summarize that.
All right.
We're running short of time. We know all
all
of
right.
that. Yeah.
Just because we everybody bared through the entire panel. Thank you so much, everybody. But to begin with, to start with, just what is one piece of advice you guys would like to give your fellow marketeers who are struggling to see a clear visibility on their marketing spends? What is one piece of advice you would give to them that would help them increase their ROIs?
I think I'll go back to my original thought about content being king. There are a lot of avenues right now, and more avenues. You just saw the Amazon ads that are coming in, that was offline, but you have platforms like Moj, and you've got video content, and you've got influencers, and so there's just so much out there. I don't think what marketers need to stop doing is playing everywhere. So put a little money behind this. Everybody's saying go after influencers. Let's just get some influencers. This is something new happening on, performance. Let's just go after a little bit of money around performance. I think I agree to some extent that your objective needs to be absolutely crystal clear. You can of course also get ticks on some of the other metrics as well. But your primary objective needs to be clear, and your strategy needs to be clear that for that objective, where should I put my maximum money behind? Doing everything in a little manner really gets you nowhere, and your metrics and third-party confirmation on attribution needs to be in place, because again, the maker can't be the checker.
Definitely, Nikhil. I think Ashish, we'll move on to you for your.
I think I said everything, know your customer, know your business, and I think that should do.
Right. Ashish.
Yeah, for marketeers, so on marketing campaigns, everyone will have their say. All your HR, finance, sales team, they'll always say कि भाई हमें ad नहीं दिख रही है. You are the expert. So you are the expert. I'm not saying don't take feedback from everyone, but you are the expert, you know what to pick from that feedback. That is very important, and that will change your marketing campaign when you take the right feedback from the right people.
Riddhi.
I just say that proving ROI is not only about using better tools, it's about asking better questions and then creating answers for yourself. So just don't go with what's easy to measure.
Aditya.
I say test and learn quickly, fail fast. So net for digital to work hard for you, marketers would need to work harder.
All right. I was really funnily mentioned that the AI, which Ashish had initially mentioned. So I'm really thankful because I know nothing about AI. So I'm really thankful nobody spoke about AI. So that's it from my side. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us, and thank you for the
Thank
panel.
you.